So Anastasia Beverly Hills just dropped a brand new brow product, and the internet has some thoughts. Because this is being marketed as a super precise, ultra-fine brow pencil, but it's coming across as a micro pencil for a macro price. And honestly, after researching about this product, I get it. So today we're going to break this launch down. The concept, the pricing, the shade range, and whether this feels innovative or just overpriced. So this is the new Anastasia Beverly Hills ArchiBrow. This is a 0.50mm ultra-fine twist-up brow pencil, and the concept is actually really interesting. It's designed to give you the glide of a pencil but the precision of a blade. So in theory, you're getting those really natural ultra-fine hair-like strokes, but without needing the skill of using a brow pencil or something more technical. Because usually brow pencils are super easy to use, but they can be a little bit more soft and look less defined. And then pens or microblade style products look amazing, but they can be tricky to use, and if you mess up, it's very obvious. So this is trying to sit right in the middle, like a hybrid between the two. And to be fair, when Anastasia Beverly Hills launches a brow product, people care. And we all know how much of a chokehold the Dip Brow Pomade had on us in 2016. And I, for one, still love using my Brow Wiz. They built their entire brand on brows. So whenever they drop something new, there's this expectation that they're either going to be innovative or best in class. Which is why I think the reaction to this has been so strong, because people aren't just casually looking at it. They're comparing it to some of the most iconic brow products ever. So let's talk about the main thing that everybody is stuck on, and that is the price. This pencil is sitting around $30 US, which in New Zealand dollars is $59. And for a micro pencil, that is definitely on the higher end. And because the tip is so tiny, like 0.50mm, you're actually not getting that much product. You're getting a whopping 0.05 grams of product. So that means that this is essentially a $600 per gram brow pencil. And I'm sorry, but that just sounds literally insane when you say it out loud. Like, no wonder people have been reacting the way they are. So when you break it down, the price per gram is really high, especially compared to traditional brow pencils. And I saw this comment that kind of sums up the entire situation. I love the way this looks, but I am terrified to find out how much product is actually inside. And yeah, I honestly can't blame them. Micro pencils are amazing for detail, but they run out so fast. And when you already don't have a lot of product to begin with, how many times are you actually going to be able to use it? Another commenter said $30 is wild, at least 23. And I kind of agree with that. This feels like it should sit in the mid-range price point. Not luxury, but also not drugstore. Because at the moment, it's kind of priced like it is something absolutely revolutionary. But at the end of the day, it is still a brow pencil. And if you're going to put such a high price point on a brow pencil, I'm sorry, but 0.05 grams of product is not going to cut it. So I think people are just kind of questioning, what exactly are we paying for here? And I really can't get over this phrase, micro pencil for a macro price, because that is exactly what this product is. Like, yes, the tip of the product is incredibly fine and the idea is very refined, but smaller doesn't always mean better. Sometimes it just means you go through it quicker. So the real question is, does that extra precision actually justify the price? Or does it mean you're just replacing it more often? Even the Brow Wiz has 0.085 grams of product, so I can't even justify the price when you can get so much more in a product like this. Now, the second biggest issue with this launch is the shade range. There were so many comments about this, especially from people with auburn or red hair. The shade range caters to a lot of people with darker eyebrow hairs as opposed to people with warmer brow hairs. And that issue was very quickly picked up on by consumers. Comments such as, why do they hate auburn? No redhead love on this release. And caramel isn't normally red enough for true copper girlies. And I understand why people are upset, because brow products can be one of the hardest categories to shade match. Even being slightly off in undertone can make your eyebrows look completely wrong. Too warm, too cool, too dark, too flat, it's all very noticeable. So when you remove auburn and copper tones, it just feels like such a miss, especially for a brand that is well known for being inclusive with their brow shade range. Now, of course, this brings me on to the next issue, and that is more affordable alternatives. These products already exist, and for a much lower price. NYX has a version like this that retails for $12 US, which is over half of the price less than Anastasia Beverly Hills product. So when something launches at a higher price point, people immediately ask, can I get the same result for less? And if the answer is even maybe, that's when the product starts to feel overpriced. And don't get me wrong, when the product is used in the brows, it does look amazing and it really does give that natural hair-like effect. But for $30, I'm not so sure. I think the biggest question here is whether this is actually innovative. Because yes, the 0.50mm tip is very precise, and the idea of combining a pencil with a microblading effect is smart, but it's not completely new. It definitely feels more of a refinement of existing products rather than something groundbreaking. And that's where I think there is a bit of an issue with this launch. Innovation can definitely justify a higher price, but if it already feels familiar, then people are going to expect it to be more accessible. So overall, this launch feels like a mix of really good ideas and some questionable decisions. The concept is strong and the execution, at least on paper, sounds promising. But the price and the shade range are definitely holding it back in the eyes of consumers. And I think this reaction just shows how much the beauty space has shifted. People are more aware, more critical, and way more intentional with their money now. So brands just can't fully rely on their name anymore. The product actually has to make sense. But I want to know what you guys think. Would you actually spend $30 on this? Or are you sticking with what you already use? And if you're someone who struggles with brow shades, especially red tones, how do you feel about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Well, I'm going to finish the video off here. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. And if you want to see any other content I don't create here, check out my social medias at Makeup with Alex. All of my links are down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!